The Young and the Restless spoilers, Saturday's weekly full, the 30th of May, 2026. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today is Friday, and honestly, it is a beautiful day outside, but I am stuck inside trying to process the absolute madness that just unfolded on our screens. I am so ready to dive into all this drama with you. Let's get right into it. So, let's just start with the biggest, most heart-stopping moment of the entire week, because I am honestly still trying to catch my breath after watching that. Nick Newman literally collapsed. He just went down and stopped breathing. And I know we have been watching this addiction storyline build up for weeks now, and we all knew it was going to get worse before it got better. Especially after that horrific car crash into the cliff a few weeks ago when he was high on those poison drugs that Sienna sold him. But seeing him actually hit rock bottom like this, seeing him lifeless, it was intense. Very, very intense. And the craziest part of all of this, the thing that actually made me yell at my television screen, is who actually stepped up to save him. Matt Clark. Yes, you heard me right. Matt Clark. I can't even wrap my head around it. The guy who has been terrorizing this family, the guy who faked his amnesia, the guy who locked people in basements and played mind games with Noah and Sharon. He actually acted fast. What were the writers thinking here? Are they trying to redeem Matt? Because I don't know if I can buy that. I really don't. But he helped. He jumped right in. And then Phyllis Summers, of all people, is right there dropping to her knees and doing CPR. Phyllis saving Nick while Matt Clark assists. It is like some bizarre fever dream that I never thought I would see on this show. It was chaotic. The camera was shaking. Everyone was panicking. And maybe I'm being too harsh on the writers. Maybe this is a brilliant way to show that even villains have a weird moral code. But you get what I mean. It was just wild. And then we have Victor and Nikki, the mustache and his lady. They are not playing around anymore. Not after this. You guys know how Victor is. He wants to control everything. He wants to pull the strings. But seeing his son literally lifeless on the floor, that breaks a parent. Nikki was already a total mess at the hospital before, screaming and crying when Nick had that car crash, but this was the final straw. They are forcing Nick into rehab, straight to rehab. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. There is no hesitation this time. No more sitting around and hoping Nick figures it out on his own. And honestly, it is about time. Nick has been spiraling so hard. The fentanyl, the cocaine, the hallucinations where he saw Matt in the road. It has been a massive, ugly mess. A total messy disaster. So Victor puts his foot down. Tough love. The toughest love. You could see it in Victor's eyes. That mix of absolute rage and terrifying fear. He and Nikki stood there and gave Nick the harsh reality check he desperately needed. His life depends on this. If he stays in Genoa City, someone is going to end up dead, and it will probably be him. He needs to be locked away in a facility where he can't get his hands on anything and where he can finally face the demons he has been running from. Because let's be real, Nick has a lot of demons right now. But let's pivot to something that actually made me laugh out loud, because we need a break from the heavy stuff. The showdown between Phyllis Summers and Patty Williams. Oh my God. You guys, this was soap opera gold. Just pure, unadulterated camp. So Phyllis and Patty are arguing. They are both trying to figure out what to do with Matt Clark, right? Because Phyllis kidnapped him to use him as a bargaining chip against Victor, and Patty was trying to extort Victor for $2 million for his location. They are both a complete mess, but then they start arguing about who's the bigger villain, who is the worst person in town. And Phyllis just goes off. She gives Patty a full-blown history lesson, and I was sitting there cheering at my screen because, let's be real, Patty is unhinged, completely unhinged. Phyllis brings up the peanut kiss. Do you guys remember the peanut kiss of death? I know some of the newer fans might not know this, but years ago, when Summer was just a little baby, Patty ate a peanut butter cookie or something and kissed her, knowing full well that Summer was deathly allergic to peanuts. That is just dark. That is so incredibly dark. Who does that to an innocent baby? Patty does, because Patty is crazy. She has always been crazy. And then Phyllis brings up Colleen Carton. Oh man, the Colleen Carton tragedy. Patty's hands are so dirty when it comes to the history of Genoa City. She has done so much damage over the years. But then again, Phyllis is no saint either. Let's be fair here. I love Phyllis, but she is a menace. Phyllis ran down Paul and Cricket with a rental car back in the day. She faked her own death. She just recently got caught up in this whole AI evidence scandal where she framed Christine and got her arrested right in the middle of the courtroom. So watching these two women, these two absolute menaces to society, stand there and debate who is more evil, it was hilarious. It really was. Sometimes the writers just know exactly what we want. A good old-fashioned villain of. But I have to give the crown to Patty. Phyllis does bad things for selfish reasons, mostly to protect herself or her kids. But Patty just loses her mind. She snaps over the smallest things, like when Matt rejected her and she immediately called Victor to sell him out. She is unpredictable, and that makes her way more dangerous in my book. Okay? Maybe that sounded dramatic, but you know I am right. So then we get to the end of the episode and the big cliffhanger. Diane Abbott is missing. Just gone. Poof. Disappeared into thin air. Kyle gets this disturbing news that his mother is nowhere to be found. And honestly, the whole town is starting to panic. Well, maybe not the whole town. Victor's probably throwing a party at the ranch right now. But Kyle is freaking out. And where the heck is she? We haven't seen her on screen all week. People thought she was just hiding out in the Abbott mansion, crying into her expensive silk pillows because Jack is a massive idiot. And Jack is an idiot. Let's be very clear about that. I am so tired of Jack's decisions lately. The man slept with Patty Williams on a boat. And then Diane catches him in a compromising position with Nicky Newman. I mean, what is Jack doing? He is practically begging for a divorce at this point. So everyone assumed Diane was just avoiding him, just staying out of sight because she was too angry to look at his face. But now it looks like something bad actually happened. Or did it? Let's think about this. Let's really think about this for a second. Is Diane actually in danger? Was she kidnapped? Maybe Patty did it. Patty is completely unhinged right now. We just talked about that. She is running around town, making deals with Victor, fighting with Phyllis. Maybe she decided to take out her romantic rival. Patty has always been obsessed with Jack. Always. So getting rid of Diane would make perfect sense in her twisted little brain. Or maybe Victor did it. Victor hates Diane. He has always hated Diane with a burning passion. He was already working with her to mess with Jack, but maybe she double-crossed him. You do not double-cross the mustache. He will end you, or, and hear me out because this is the most likely scenario, Diane faked her own death again, or faked her kidnapping, because that is what Diane does. She is the absolute queen of disappearing acts. Remember when she faked her death and stayed dead for like a decade? She knows how to drop off the grid better than anyone else in this town. And what better way to punish Jack than to make him think she was brutally murdered or abducted because of his careless actions? It is brilliant. Twisted, manipulative, and totally toxic, but brilliant. Diane is a survivor. She is not going to just let someone take her out without a fight. She is probably sitting on a beach somewhere, sipping a martini, while Kyle and Jack lose their minds. And all of this is happening at the exact same time. Genoa City is just a chaotic mess right now. You have Nick fighting for his life and heading to rehab. You have Victor playing God with everyone's lives and throwing his weight around. You have Jack ruining his marriage for the millionth time. And you have these crazy villains like Matt and Patty just running loose and causing destruction everywhere they go. It feels like the show is building up to something massive, like a huge explosion or a murder mystery. If Diane is actually dead, which I highly doubt, but if she is, that would be a huge whodunit. Who Killed Diane Abbott Part 2. We already did that storyline, but they love repeating storylines, let's be honest. But I really hope she is just hiding. I want her to come back and make Jack grovel. He deserves to grovel. He really does. He needs to get on his knees and beg for forgiveness after the stunt he pulled with Patty. I just don't understand how a smart man can be so dumb sometimes. But going back to Nick for a second before I wrap this up, I just can't stop thinking about that CPR scene. It was so intense. And Matt Clark, I just don't get it. Why did he help? Was he trying to play the hero to get in good with Phillips? Or did he genuinely panic? Because if Matt wanted to hurt the Newmans, letting Nick die right there on the floor would have been the ultimate victory for him. He could have just walked away. But he didn't. He jumped in. It makes me wonder if there is a twist coming with Matt. Like maybe he isn't the real Matt Clark. No, that's crazy. That's a crazy theory. Just ignore I said that. Sometimes my brain just goes a million miles an hour when I watch this show and I start making up wild theories. But seriously, Nick is going to have a long road ahead of him. Rehab is not a magic fix. It is going to be grueling. He has to deal with the trauma of what he did. He crashed a car. He almost killed himself. He terrified Sharon and Noah. He has to face all of that sober, and that is going to be brutal to watch. But I think Joshua Morrow is going to act the heck out of those scenes. So yeah, that is where we are at today. A completely exhausting, emotionally draining week of television. I am tired. I am honestly so tired of watching Jack make bad choices, but I can't look away. And I am so invested in this Phyllis and Patty rivalry now. I want more of them, just screaming at each other in random rooms and bringing up 20-year-old grudges. It is the best part of the show right now. What do you guys think? Is Diane faking it? Is Patty going to strike again? Is Nick going to survive rehab? Let me know in the comments, because I need to talk about this with people who understand the madness. I'll be back next week with more updates assuming my brain doesn't completely melt from all the drama.